Okay, picture this. You're waiting for a single conversation, not just for a few hours, but for 7 long years. And you're not just waiting patiently either. You're enduring this agonizing physical sacrifice, literally pouring your own blood onto the earth just to prepare the ground for a master to speak. It sounds like some kind of epic, untouchable myth, right? But this visceral, completely shocking act of devotion is actually the opening to one of the absolute most profound teachings in all of Mahayana Buddhism. So in this explainer, we are going to unpack an ancient text to really understand this highly practical concept from the perspective of a bodhisattva's practice. It's called Prajnaparamita, or the perfection of wisdom. We're going to follow this one seeker's extreme journey to discover what happens when you finally catch this ultimate truth, why holding on to it is actually incredibly dangerous, and exactly why it's considered the literal mother of all enlightenment. Let's dive in.
So this intense story centers on a bodhisattva named Sadaparudita. He's this spiritual seeker who's just totally desperate for the ultimate truth. He manages to track down a great master named Dharmodgata, only to find the guy locked into deep meditation. And that meditation lasted for 7 grueling years. But Sadaparudita, he didn't leave. He didn't complain. He just waited. And when the master finally emerged, the source texts tell us, our seeker sprinkled the ground with his own blood. It's an act of just absolute, unwavering devotion, purely to prepare the space for the teaching.
Now, you might be thinking, wow, that is intense, and yeah, it absolutely is. But this extreme physical sacrifice isn't just there for dramatic effect. It's a profound case study of the Bodhisattva path. This unyielding dedication sets the baseline for everything that follows. It's basically telling us that the wisdom Dharmagata is about to impart is a cosmic truth so life-altering, it is worth sacrificing absolutely every ounce of physical comfort and safety just to hear it. So, after 7 years of blood, sweat, and pure silence, the master finally speaks. What's the big secret? Well, he teaches Prajnaparamita, the perfection of wisdom. But Dharmagata makes it crystal clear from the jump. This isn't wisdom like, knowing how to fix a car or giving your friend good life advice. No, this is the profound, direct realization of the absolute equality, emptiness, and boundlessness of all phenomena. It's this ultimate understanding that the rigid little boxes we try to stuff reality into, like good and bad, self and other, success and failure, they're all fundamentally empty. To help us wrap our heads around this massive concept, the master breaks it down into specific marks or characteristics. True prajna involves recognizing the absolute equality of all things, maintaining complete detachment, and cultivating an unmoving nature. And for a bodhisattva practicing this path, really realizing this emptiness results in perfect fearlessness. Think about it. When you stop obsessively categorizing the world into things you crave and things you despise, your worldly anxieties, they just simply dissolve. And that actually leads us to one of the most beautiful concepts in the whole text, this idea of a single unified flavor or yi wei. Think about our everyday anxious minds like 100 scattered rivers. They're rushing in different directions, crashing into obstacles, totally confined by these narrow little banks. But when a seeker achieves Prajnaparamita, all those frantic, distinct phenomena merge into one vast, unified ocean. Everything suddenly takes on the exact same flavor of ultimate emptiness and liberation. We see a really similar contrast with the unmoving nature of this wisdom. Normally, we're kind of like scattered dust, just being blown around by the wind, right? A little bit of criticism or a stressful day at work, and we are completely blown off course. But true prajna is compared to the legendary, immovable Mount Sumeru. No matter how hard the worldly winds of drama or suffering blow against you, that deep realization of emptiness remains completely and utterly unshakable. But wait, here is where the text throws us a massive curveball. It asks this deeply provocative question. Is it possible for a profound seeker to become fatally attached to this ultimate wisdom itself? Remember, Sadaparudita has just endured 7 years of actual torture to get this truth. He knows how magnificent it is. So the real tension here is that because of his intense devotion, he might actually fall into a trap. He might start egoically clinging to the very idea of enlightenment. To explain this, the ancient masters used this incredibly vivid, tactile metaphor. They called it the danger of hot gold. Honestly, it perfectly encapsulates the ultimate test of a bodhisattva's practice. The text basically warns that prajna, as perfectly pure and amazing as it is, simply cannot be grasped with attachment. It's exactly like how beautiful, glowing hot gold cannot be held in your bare hands. Just think about that for a second. Gold is incredibly valuable, pure, beautiful. You obviously want it. But if that gold is glowing red hot, grabbing it with your bare ego is just going to leave you with third-degree burns.
Even the highest enlightenment becomes completely toxic if your ego treats it as some shiny spiritual trophy you've won. You literally have to let go of your attachment to the cure itself.
So you're probably wondering, how do you hold hot gold without getting burnt? Well, you don't grasp it, you internalize it through a state called samadhi. This is a state of profound meditative concentration where those scattered flashes of wisdom are perfectly stabilized. Sadaprabhudita didn't just grab a notepad and write down the master's words. He safely absorbed them into a deep, unattached concentration.
The source text actually gives us two brilliant visual analogies to really hammer this home. First up, the lamp. Having mere intellectual wisdom in a scattered mind is exactly like a flickering lamp in the wind. It's weak, it's frantic, and it is way too easily blown out by daily stress. But samadhi? Samadhi is like taking that exact same lamp and placing it inside a perfectly still, closed room. Suddenly, the light becomes incredibly bright, steady, and unwavering.
The second analogy compares raw, theoretical knowledge to unstable liquid water. It's fluid, sure, but you really can't build anything on it. However, when that knowledge is cooled and stabilized by deep meditative samadhi, it transforms into solid ice. It literally becomes strong enough to bear the heavy weight of real-life suffering, and more importantly, strong enough to support the immense bodhisattva task of going out and saving others.
So what was the actual result of Sadaprabhupada internalizing all this unattached wisdom? 6 million. Seriously, 6 million. The text states that the very moment he truly let go of his attachment to the teaching, he instantly unlocked 6 million gates of samadhi. I mean, talk about scale. It represents this massive exponential expansion of consciousness. His entire reality was completely reprogrammed into boundless freedom.
Now, let's zoom out for a second from Sadaprabhudita's wild personal journey. The text shifts to a much broader historical view here. It asks, why did the historical Buddha, as he was approaching the very end of his life, specifically entrust this exact ultimate teaching of Prajnaparamita to his closest attendant, Ananda? With all the countless teachings and rules the Buddha laid out over his lifetime, why was this specific one singled out with such immense urgency?
The answer to that is this one. Incredibly bold declaration. Prajnaparamita is the mother of all Buddhas. Across all time, past, present, and future, and across infinite universes, this specific perfection of wisdom is the supreme, generative source of it all.
But why the mother? Well, because Prajna literally gives birth to true enlightenment. Look, a bodhisattva can do all the good deeds in the world, they can meditate for decades, but without this core realization of emptiness and non-attachment, achieving actual Buddhahood is flat out impossible. Prajna is the vital catalyst. It's the thing that takes everyday good karma and transforms it into ultimate, irreversible liberation. In fact, even the Buddhists themselves revere this profound truth as their own supreme teacher.
And that brings us right back to you and me. Now, we might not be bleeding on the ground waiting 7 years for a master to speak, but come on, we all carry heavy things. We grip our identities, our daily anxieties, our successes, and our failures so tightly. But as this ancient explainer reminds us today, if even the most beautiful, ultimate truth of the universe is just like hot gold that will burn you if you try to egoically grasp it, what heavy burdens in your own modern life are you gripping too tightly right now? What are you finally ready to let go of? Think on that for a bit. Until next time, keep seeking and keep letting go.